in that regard. They get, this is not telling.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular scheduled meeting, City of Griffin Board of Commissioners, May 11, 2021. We're going to open up with Commissioner Holly Murray leading the Pledge of Allegiance, following me doing the invocation. If you'll please rise.
Stand and face the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to gather here to do the business of the people. Keep us together as a team, unified for the betterment of all its citizens. Make our decisions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. In your name, amen. We need to, we've got the agenda, but I need to add item 12A. We need to amend the agenda to add item 12A, review the new Griffin Spalding Airport business plan to be submitted to the Georgia Department of Transportation by the Griffin Spalding Airport Authority. Griffin Spalding Airport Authority Attorney Stephanie Wyndham will address. Do we have an approved amended agenda?
Motion approved.
Mrs. Ward, second motion. Mr. McCord with a second. All in favor, please signal by raise your hand. 5-0. Under presentations and delegation, we're going to recognize Kenneth Dobson, wastewater operator 3 for Potato Creek, as the April 2021 Strongest Link Award recipient. Director of Watershed Management, Dr. Ray Kelly.
We ordered, but he ain't here.
He's doing that.
You're on the video. Volume.
Volume.
Dobson is an operator here at the plant. I am the superintendent of Data Creek Water Pollution Control Plant. And again, Dobson is an operator here at the plant. So I'm the superintendent.
My name is Kenneth Dobson. I'm a wastewater treatment operator. I've been here a pretty long while, about 22 years now.
You had a pump go out, which caused a lot of recirculation of treated water back on the plant, and then equipment failed in the plant. So we're on a breach and busted permit, which is a big no-no in our world. So in order to fix that, we literally had to swap from basin 2 to basin 3 and clean everything downstream of that impacting this. So it was about a 24, 36-hour job getting all of that done in one shot. We only had 3 operators and 3 pumps to do it.
We just had a lot of stuff go wrong with the plant. We had to switch the whole basin. And we just had to, you can't stop in the middle of it. And always, it keeps on going. We couldn't leave until the job was done. So we worked straight on through.
So we left at 6 o'clock, came right back in at midnight, and stayed at 10 the next night, transferring that basin over.
That night was 22 hours. I came in at 12 and got off 10 that next day. That night.
He's hard worker. Anything you ask him, he's going to give you 110% every time. And our job, our priority is to protect public health and environmental health. So I know what it's like being an operator. It's one of the hardest jobs people and husband have for public units. And for him to put in that many hours doing these gentlemen, and I have a lot of respect and appreciation for someone willing to go above and beyond just an 8-hour day. And he did what he had to do to protect the environment and the health of the public appears here. And that, to me, that stands out. That says a lot in this area.
It was unexpected, like I said, and just I'm glad I was recognized for it.
Excellent. Dr. Kelly, you have any words to say?
Yeah, I know we didn't save anybody's life or pull them out of a fire, but at the end of the day, Kenneth came here in '99. He's had numerous different jobs to the system. In 1994, he became an operator, and yeah, we didn't pull anybody out of a fire, didn't have to stop anything else. But at the end of the day, what he did do is stop us from getting consent from Georgia EPD that could evolve anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 fines. So, you know, when the rubber meets the road, our staff does what they got to do. Coronavirus, you know, water kept flowing and the toilets kept flushing. So thanks a lot for allowing us to give him this award this morning.
Brandon, give Rebecca and pass on our appreciation and everybody into the emotional stuff, and give them a big hug. Proud of
Give
them.
him a hug and a kiss.
What? Thank you. Appreciate y'all's team's hard work and commitment. Moving into recognizing the graduates of the 2021 Citizens Fire Academy, Fire Chief John Hamilton will address. Welcome, Chief.
Good evening. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. This is a special one for me because this is my first as chief. It would have been last year, but it got canceled. We were all ready to go last year. We had all of our applications in, and we were a week out when we had to cancel. A few that were here this year were able to come back again, so I'm very appreciative of that. We had 8 fun-filled weeks. We had a great time. This group had me laughing. We had a lot of good times. They got to see a lot of things that have never been seen before. We have some new props and some new training pieces they got to see. They got to go out to the training center. So we had a lot of good times. Very proud of them. I think a few of them will be at our police academy starting in a couple weeks or a week or so. So it would be great. But with all that being said, it is my pleasure to present you this 2021 Citizens Fire Academy graduates. And I will read them off and bring them up and get a picture. First one up will be Heather Duberstein, Rebecca Thurman, Suzanne Cumming, Skip Wright, Alexander Kane, Drew Murphy, Kathy Russell, Regina Stevens, Donnie Bell, Brian Love, and Miss Woods, Miss Stephanie Woods, our HR director, could not be here tonight, but she was with us as well. And I present to you our graduates. Did you get a picture?
See, did you ever get a picture?
We need to come together close.
Yeah, please.
Act like you like it.
Move in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, before you sit down,
Oh,
I got something for you. So we just wanted to give this to you, and just thank you so much. We learned so much, and your guys took so much time with us and answered all our questions, so we just appreciate you and all the time you spent with us.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. One more thing.
One other thing. I'll keep it brief. You want to come in front of the mic?
He said yes.
I'll keep it brief. When I was in seminary, they told me to keep my conversations long, but I'm really short. I wish we had more city commissioners here tonight. I would like to address them to the city commissioners, honorable mayor, and this city manager over there. This is for you. I've completed this academy 3 or 4 times, learned something new each time. I've watched the pride in this fire department as this new equipment comes on board. How much they like it, like to show it, how much they love that new equipment, which makes me a little more interested in SPLOST, if we could kind of keep the county in line. I really mean that too. I watched the training grounds. I go from almost a vacant, this is over the last few years, almost go from a vacant lot to what Captain Hamilton and now Chief Hamilton has been able to do. If the city commissioners haven't been over there, it's worth going over there to see what they have done. I don't think anybody else could have done it any cheaper, any faster, any better than our current chief. Over the last few times, I've also watched the firefighters. Watched them very closely. They didn't know what I was doing. I watched them very closely from the rookie all the way up to to the most senior. And I think I can boil this down to just two sentences. One, we don't have a fire department. We have a family of firefighters who will do and risk whatever it takes to take care of the family of Griffin. And I believe that's probably all I can say is these guys, these men and women of the fire department have really done well. They show pride in keeping our ISO rating what it is. I hope we can continue to fund them so that we can keep that down. You know, I want to watch my homeowners insurance. I know all y'all do. We can just look at the other areas and see what fire insurance can be. But Chief Hamilton and his family of firefighters, probably the best, although I'm sure they are the best of any fire department, the closest of any fire department in the state of Georgia, if not the country.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Lott. I'd also like to recognize Mr. Donnie Beal, whose dad, Fire Chief Donnie Bell, as he went by, but he spent many years following his dad around, and his dad was such an asset to this community and a good friend of all of us. So I want to welcome you all and thank you for your hard work and commitment. Look forward to seeing you at the next grade event.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Moving into review financial reports for March 2021, Chief Financial Officer Marcus Schwab will address. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. All right, so cash is what it is. It's a snapshot in time. Our interim financial statements for the general fund specifically, property taxes are just under 97% collected, and overall tax revenue composition is just shy over 96%.
Any questions or comments from the commission? Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Moving into citizen comments. At this time, the mayor opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to the concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The mayor reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. With that being said, is there anybody on my right side like to come before the board? Is there anybody on my left side? Any comments or anything sent in to you?
We've quit that.
Okay, perfect. Moving into the consent agenda, we have items 4 through 7. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda as a whole? Mrs. Murray with a motion, second by Mrs. Ward. All in favor of the consent agenda, please signal by raise your hand. 5-0. Moving into the regular scheduled meeting, consider the minutes of the Griffin Board of Commissioners, April 27, 2021 workshop meeting, and that's with the county commission, is that correct? Or is that the work, is that that's the regular workshop? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Second. Second by Mr. McCord. All in favor, signal by raising your hand.
Who was absent at that meeting?
Truman.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
So 5-0. Moving into item 9, consider engagement letters for audit services with the independent auditors, Malden and Jenkins, certified public accountants. Do we have a motion to approve? Mrs. Ward with a motion. Mrs. Murray with a second. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Item 10 is consider a bid award and construction contract with the City of Griffin Sledge Management Project to PF Moon and Company, Inc., low bidder in the amount of $9,539,000 for the Watershed Management Department. Dr. Keller is here to address if there are any questions. Do we have a motion to award the bid? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Mrs. Ward with a second. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Item 11 is consider the purchase of one 2021 Freightliner with Johnson V65T standard sweeping equipment from the Butcher Municipal through Storeswell contract in the amount of $294,228 for the street division of Public Works Department, and consider the surplus the sale of Unit 417 Freightliner sweeper in the amount of $120,000. Mrs. Ward with a motion. Mrs. Murray with a second. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. 5-0. Item 12, to consider sharing the local match for this State Route 155 scoping project in Spalding County at the cost of $31,250 to be paid to Heath and Lineback Engineering, chosen by the committee after reviewing responses to a request for proposal. Do we have a motion to split this with the county? Mrs. Ward with a motion.
Question,
Ms. Murray with a second, and a question from Ms. Myers.
do we have a time frame for completion of this, or?
It's not on what the county provided us, Dr. Keller, do you
It's
know?
about 18 months,
Okay,
18 to 20 months, ma'am.
okay,
Yeah, this is phase 1, so this is from the intersection of State Route 155 and Jackson Road along the existing alignment of North McDonough Road to State Route 16. So from that four-way stop to 16 by the Kangaroo and the,
down south of McDonough, okay,
it's, well, North McDonough at that point.
oh, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signal by raising your hand. It's 5-0. Item 12A, we need to review the new Griffin Spalding Airport Business Plan to be submitted to the Georgia Department of Transportation by the Griffin Spalding Airport Authority. Griffin Spalding Airport Authority Attorney Stephanie Woodman will address.
So this is the airport business plan. You can see it's quite long. It's actually longer than this because there's about 100 extra pages of exhibits to that contract. The airport authority submitted a business plan to GDOT about a month ago. GDOT responded with 52 comments and gave us a deadline of May the 24th to get that business plan revised and submitted. We addressed all of the 52 comments. We've submitted the revisions to GDOT. They met with us and our consultants, Croy Engineering. The airport authority approved the plan with the understanding that GDOT may tweak it a little bit further. We expect a couple more comments, but we are very close to where they want us to be. One of the things that Carol Plummer with GDOT had recommended was that all the sponsors sign off on the business plan. It's not a contract, it's a plan. It's a living document that is meant to change as things change. So what I've done is prepared an acknowledgement page, and it just says that the parties hereto, also referred to as sponsors, acknowledge the submission of the airport business plan for the new Griffin Spalding County Airport dated May 2021. If y'all have any questions about it,
This is a
I
plan,
do my,
and we know it's not perfect, but at the same time, this is what we have to do to be able to get substantial amounts of money to start planning our way, mainly the relocation of the transmission power lines.
and our fear is that if we don't have this signed piece of paper, that would just be another reason for GDOT to not give us the money that they're supposed to give us in a timely fashion.
Have we had plans for every other, along steps of the way the whole time?
This is the first business plan that we've ever had to submit, and my understanding is that there's not an airport an airport like ours in the state that has ever had to submit a business plan. We're special.
And just so I'm clear, we're agreeing to the submission, but not obligating ourselves to anything.
That's correct. It's not a contract in any way.
Well, and maybe to clarify a little bit, we're already obligated from our IGA. So
Right.
this really doesn't change anything that we're already obligated ourselves to from the signature of that in 2013, I think it was.
Yes, and the most revised document as well for the utility relocation, where the sponsors for the new Griffin Spalding Airport are the Airport Authority, the City of Griffin, and Spalding County.
Because if you'll remember, for a while, they only had the city of Griffin listed, and we said no, that you've got to list Spalding County and the Airport Authority as sponsors as well. So it was just us for a little bit, but they realized that the Airport Authority has been an entity for quite some time, and the county also contributes to that. So they recognized our IGA and our request and added the other two parties, but now this business plan, and again, I'm just sort of getting into all of this, but I think this we knew would happen, but we expected it a little closer to opening around 2023. So this is a couple years prior to what we thought we would be giving, which has made it a little bit more difficult because things do change so drastically in a year or two's time. And if we haven't even started construction, telling them how we're going to operate it has made it a little difficult. But the Airport Authority did review it last night and approved it and asked us to amend our agenda to do it so that we didn't have to special call a meeting before the 24th deadline.
And many of those 52 comments were based on things that you can't answer this far in advance of the building of this airport. And so that's why our consultant and the chairman, Randy Peters, met with GDOT last week to go over everything, because there were so many points that they asked us to give specifics on that we absolutely can't do.
Okay, so, right, just haven't seen the document myself or had the opportunity to read it. So I will trust that this has not further obligated us or any of that other. And I'll just go on record as saying that because I have not seen it, that is a concern I have, but I understand the process as it has been explained. And if y'all try to come back and say that we're obligated, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm not.
And we're not asking you to vote on anything tonight, we just need you to be aware because the mayor does have to sign it. So if there was any kind of complete objection to that, we would have formally put it on some kind of meeting for you all to discuss and vote. But we felt like at this point that a consensus was probably enough to allow him to sign it and move forward.
Yeah, and that's all we're seeking is a consensus, and the signature is just as an acknowledgement that it has been submitted.
Okay.
Does this, what's the lifespan of it, or is it just this initial?
Well, it's a living document, so it's gonna, we expect it to change probably every 2 or 3 years, and it will probably be much changed by the time we open.
You have Matt consensus, whatever it is supposed to be, but I want to second the motion of Commissioner Flowers. Let's just to the board and to the Mountain City Manager, that we're all in the understanding that this is not, we in no way disagree on the document that we have not.
You know, I don't wanna make you angry. I need you all on my side, so.
Okay, I'm okay with
So we'll
this.
take you as a motion, Ms. Flowers?
Yeah,
And a
I'll-
second by Mr. McCord, for us to.
But this don't.
There's no
It's just a consensus.
Oh, just a consent, okay, or,
So I'm comfortable if you sign
Yes.
it with my concerns noted.
I understand.
Can I just second her motion?
And I'm concerned too, but my fear is that GDOT's looking for any opportunity for us to tell us to go away, and you're out of luck. So we're trying to do our due diligence to be successful in this building. Thank you.
All right, thanks, I appreciate it.
That's fine. And our last item, before we go into closed session, city manager comments.
Yes, I do have a few. Our budget is almost done, so we will be sending that to you all by link and email on Friday. It will be available to the public to review if they'd like in our office, as well as online. We have election of GMA's District 4 officers. There are no additional nominations that were received by the April 20th deadline. So as long as you all are okay, the president is J.D. Stalling, from the mayor from Thomaston. The first vice president is Dr. Steve Ledbetter, the mayor from Woodbury. Second vice president is Betty Kaysen, the mayor from Carrollton. And third vice president is William Pearman, the mayor from Sonoy. So we will be submitting that as our okay with those nominations since there aren't any others. So we'll get that submitted in a timely manner. Also, the county has requested a joint meeting for us and them in regards to planning for West Side development. This is sort of information from the annexation that was given at our last meeting. They would like to talk about any future plans for that area. This is sort of Highway 16, West Poplar, out towards Carver Road, on your way to Pike County. So they have asked for some dates. I told them that I couldn't do anything else until after budget. So the dates that we have tentatively wanted to start with was June 3rd, June 8th, or June 15th. The 8th, we do have a meeting that night that will hopefully be our budget adoption, so preferably that morning. Do any of you all have any?
3, 8, or 15?
Or the 15th or the 3rd would be the earliest.
I like the 8th.
The 8.
I know I'll be in town.
All right, let me see if Mr. Wilson can get his group to,
When is his last day?
his last day is the 30th of June. So I will shoot that, and this is really actually coming from Newton Galloway, their planning and zoning attorney. So it was a request from him to myself and Mr. Jacobs. So I'll ask them the 8th, and if that does not work, then we'll get together with some more dates. Also, don't forget, we do have our joint T-Splost meeting again on Thursday at 4 at their annex. I don't expect it to last long, but I really haven't heard much from them this week. So the last we heard was to come up with some joint projects, and staff has been working on that, and I'm under the impression that theirs has as well. And finally, just a mention of Miss Lillian Tomlin's passing in her funeral this past Friday. She was actually a friend of mine from a past life, it seems, when I was a much younger child, and she was always very gracious to me as not quite the lady. I very much appreciate that. And she will certainly be missed. I'm glad I got to know her the last couple of years as a more adult version of myself. So condolences to her family.
Thank you. Mr. Whalen?
I have nothing.
Mr. McCord? Mrs. Bird?
I just wanted to, they're not here, but to say I'm very proud of the citizens of the Fire Academy and congratulate them again on the accomplishments. That's all.
Mrs. Flowers?
Just real quickly, wanted to say, not this week, Monday last week, I came and brought some concerns to the city manager regarding the dumping of household items that are far too large to go into the trash receptacle. And just the difficulties of being able to hold people accountable because they were clearly in the right of way. So just kind of want to go on record as saying that's obviously still an issue that we have to contend with. And the issue was brought to me by a citizen who had to look out of their front door and see it. And as I made literally one circle around said block, there were 3 different piles that were pretty substantial that needs to be collected. So just because you don't see the trash on your street doesn't mean that there isn't trash. And also on the same day, I also showed the city manager a photo of something much larger than an 18-wheeler transporting some huge piece of equipment at the intersection of Little and Spalding, which is basically like a block down from where we're talking about doing the roundabout. And she saw the picture and was like, why on earth is this huge piece of equipment trying to come to this little bitty intersection? And I just showed it to her to just kind of validate the concerns of, it's one thing for me to say to you guys, oh, it's an issue. There literally was something much larger than an 18-wheeler trying to fit through an intersection that you can't get 2 cars through at one time. So just talking about the traffic flow, and that's it, that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Ward?
No.
First, I want to give a shout out to Chris and his team to the Griffin Golf Course. Hearing nothing but praise from folks in terms of the condition of it and the improvement. So good job, keep working hard. Also want to give a shout out to Mrs. O'Connor. She is doing a fabulous job, hearing praises from employees and from citizens, and we're very proud of you. Just want to thank you for your hard work and look forward to seeing your first budget. So it should be exciting. So we're very optimistic. And to the rest of the team, thank you all. Chief, thank you again for everything y'all do with the police department. It's Law Enforcement Appreciation Week this week, and National Fallen Law Officer Memorial is on the 15th of May. So thank you, Chief, for all y'all do for Griffin. Moving into the final item of the night is pursuant to OCGA Section 54.221 for the purpose of consulting and meeting with legal counsel pertaining to pending or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions brought by or against the agency or any officer or employee, or in which the agency or any officer or employee may be directly involved. Do we have a motion to go into closed session? Ms. Murray on the motion, second. Second by Ms. Ward. All in favor, please rise and join us. Come on, let's go. We're gonna roll.
Oh, yeah.
All right, come on.
Oh, yeah, let's go. That's my kind of stuff.
Quick, sorry, with Caesar Press.